without further ado, I would like each of you to please give a little introduction, your name, where you're from, your age, and your favorite superhero. Okay, Alicia, can you please start?
Hi, my name is Alicia. I am from Argentina, but I am living in Barcelona. I am 47 years old, and my superhero is Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Thank you so much. Brian?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, my name is Brian. I'm from Chile. I'm 38 years old. And my favorite
Superhero?
superhero is I don't know, Flash.
Flash? Okay.
Flash.
Okay, great. Thank you. David?
Yes. Hello?
Yes. Hello.
Hi,
Your
how are you?
introduction. Fine, thank you.
My name is David, Mexico. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And my favorite es que entré un poquito tarde.
It's okay. Superhero?
My superhero. My superhero is como my hobby.
Your favorite superhero. Superhero is like Batman, Superman. It can be.
Yeah. Okay. My superhero is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Okay, great. David or David, which do you prefer?
I prefer?
Yeah, David or David?
David, that's fine.
David. Okay, nice to meet you. All right, thanks so much. Hanashandi Ramirez?
Hanashdi.
Hanashdi.
My name is Hanashdi. My age is 16 years old.
Okay.
I'm from Mexico, and my favorite superhero is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Great. Okay, and Jorge?
Yes. Hi, teacher.
Hello.
My name is Jorge. I am living in Puebla, Mexico. My favorite superhero is Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Yes.
Okay, and would you mind to tell us how old you are, or you don't want to?
Yes. I am 37 years old.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Jorge. Lisbeth? Or Lisbeth? Lisbeth?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello.
Hi. My name is Lisbeth Tatiana. I'm from Colombia, but now I am living in Los Angeles, California. I'm 42 years old. My favorite superhero is Superman.
Superman. Great. Fantastic. Thank you, Lisbeth. And that's correct, Lisbeth? Like that?
Yes, it's correct.
Thank you. Great. And Valeria?
Hi, my name is Valeria. I'm from Ecuador. I'm 20, and I think my favorite superhero is Wonder Woman also.
Wonder Woman also. Great. Nice to see you again, Valeria. And we have Noles or Noeles.
Sí. Hi, my name is Noelis. I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm 19 years old, and my favorite superhero is Captain America.
Okay, great. So it's Noeles?
Noelis.
Noelis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you, Noelis. And Jose Luis, hello. We're just introducing ourselves. Okay, maybe in the chat there's something going on. Okay. I can't hear you, Jose Luis, so we are going to continue with class. Everybody please turn off their microphones. And I'm going to tell you that my favorite superhero are all the doctors and nurses that are working extremely hard right now to fight against this pandemic that we're all facing. There has been unjust treatment of medical staff and medical personnel throughout the world, and I think that they are superheroes because they risk their lives every single day to fight, control, and save people from the horrible pandemic that we're facing. And what we're facing with this pandemic is also looking into a vaccination to find a vaccination for COVID-19. And we hear news, I think, that we're very close all the time, but it's difficult. It's very difficult. Many vaccinations take years to develop. So right now, I'm going to ask you a particular question about vaccinations, and I want you to give your honest thoughts on the question. And the question that I'm presenting to all of you is, in general, what do you think? Do you think the benefits of vaccinations outweigh the negative or the negative effects of vaccinations? So I'm going to let David begin and tell me what his thoughts are on that. David? David, are you there? Okay. How about Alicia? Alicia, can you try?
Okay, I think for the, I don't know how do you say, no vaccination, but the thing, I don't know, vacuum, but I don't know the name of the thing. For normally the scientific needed 10 years for find the vacuna.
Vaccination.
Vaccination. I think it's they have a short time to find it. I'm not sure, but this is fine or not.
Okay. Okay, so you think the time frame is too short to find a proper vaccination?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Because I remember the vaccination for the papilloma was a lot of problem with the girls.
Yes.
I'm not sure with this.
And okay, but do you think having vaccinations in general, the ones that we already have, like polio, meningitis, typhoid, chickenpox, smallpox, do you think having these vaccinations is better than not having them?
No, sure. The vaccination is better.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
Okay, good. Great, thank you. And Lisbeth, can you give me your insight?
Okay, I think that the vaccination is secure. I think that the laboratory or the companies that works on that, they are responsible and they took the time to prove the vaccine first. So it is important to, in order to you get your defense, to prepare your immune system to defense from any sick and any illness. So
any illness.
Any illness, exactly. So I think that it's important that people take advantage of it.
Okay, great. Good. So you think it's very important and that the benefits outweigh the negatives?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Good. And how about you, Jose Luis? Are you still here? Yes,
Yeah.
Jose Luis. Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I think that is a good point, and this develop of the vaccination is a good point because without it, almost the vaccine is made of viruses, attack
Mm-hmm.
viruses, and without this vaccine,
Mm-hmm.
these viruses must be killed or kill almost half of the population.
Mm-hmm.
So without the vaccination, we have serious problems.
Mm-hmm. We have widespread death.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Can you
Yeah,
tell me widespread death?
widespread that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes, that's a good point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And what do you think, Jorge? Thank you, Jose.
Um, as we can see, it is urgent to find a cure. I think
Mm-hmm.
that people who don't believe in vaccines now think differently about its benefits.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in them. I hope it will be really soon. There are many people dying for this disease.
Yeah, there are many people dying for this disease. Exactly. So you think that the people that are anti-vax are coming to their senses a little more
Yes.
and seeing the benefits? Yes?
Yes.
Great. And what about you, Noles? Can you hear me? Noles? Okay. Brian,
Yes, I am.
can you please give me your thoughts on vaccinations?
Okay. The vaccinations are important. Many people are working on that to discover the definitive vaccine. But I wait
Mm-hmm.
for that thing because I prefer they tested in other people. It's not urgent for me that because I hear that there are people with side effects on his body. They can sleep. There are there are experiments, another issue or illness, or I don't know. But I will wait for me and for my family too,
Mm-hmm.
for the definitive vaccine. And now the vaccine for that coronavirus, I don't know, but the I heard yesterday that I googled, I look at I have sorry. Yesterday I am on internet. I have to read. I read there are a new virus in China.
Mm-hmm.
The new yes, the new virus,
You read
and
yesterday that?
yes, the new virus from pigs
Oh
now,
no.
and they are controlling. They are still not controlling them because they are focused on coronavirus. I
Mm.
don't know what happened. This I think the next year we will COVID-20. I don't know.
No. Okay, that's scary to know. Um, Thank you for that information, Brian.
Okay.
Jorge, what do you think?
Sorry, again?
What do you think about the vaccinations?
I did it.
Sorry, what?
How to say I participate? I don't participate.
Okay. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, then what we're going to do now is we're going to look at a little video about some vaccinations, because in the United States there has been a big disturbance about anti-vaccinations. Anti-vaccinations are people who believe that they don't need to be vaccinated. And you can understand when you see when there's a problem with that, no? Or why there's a problem like that. Because if I'm vaccinated and you're vaccinated, but those two aren't vaccinated, the virus can mutate and attack us because it will get stronger, because not everybody is in the same level of controlling the virus. And for viruses, there are no cures, only for bacteria. A vaccination, remember, is not a cure, it's only a preventive measure that helps us fight these kinds of viruses. So we're going to look at a video really quickly about vaccinations and what is happening with vaccinations. If you cannot hear, if you need to see it bigger, please let me know, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And I'll press play.
Now the QIW Actual 5-day forecast, sponsored by Elite Active.
There will continue to be a couple of snow showers, even with rain and
What a cute little face. Aww. Here we go. It's a girl. She's beautiful. What's her name? Rachel.
A new life begins.
Congratulations.
Out of her mother's womb, Rachel Murphy is now surrounded by a new world filled with countless germs. Modern medicine will do what it can to protect her.
Just a tiny little stick.
Barely an hour old, Rachel gets her first shot against hepatitis B. This is the first of up to 35 inoculations she will get in the next 6 years of her life to fight 14 diseases. Public health doctors celebrate vaccines as one of medicine's shining achievements.
That's all. Okay.
They've increased our lifespan by 30 years. Hib would cause 20 to 25,000 cases a year, gone. I mean, polio would paralyze, tens of thousands of children every year, gone. I mean, diphtheria was the most common killer of teenagers in the 1920s, gone. I mean, the vaccines, the benefit of vaccines is clear.
Well, there's now 16 diseases that are preventable by vaccination for children. 14 of those are diseases that we vaccinate infants and young children for, and 2 of them are diseases that we vaccinate adolescents. From my point of view, being able to prevent 16 diseases by vaccination is a really good thing.
But not everyone agrees. Across America, the CDC has discovered certain communities where parents are hesitating to vaccinate their children. One is Ashland, Oregon.
Yeah, well, what am I going to do with the baby scooter? This is our neighborhood. We love it because we can walk everywhere. Ashland is a very safe town compared to almost every place else in America.
It's a college town, the home of an annual Shakespeare festival, where a well-off, educated populace has easy access to alternative medicines, an organic food co-op, and yoga centers.
Go get them!
Jennifer Margulis, a writer with a PhD in English literature, is the mother of 4 children.
When my daughter was born in 1999, the nurse bustled in with her tray and said, okay, it's time for your hepatitis B vaccine. And I looked at my daughter and I looked at the nurse and I said, isn't hepatitis B a sexually transmitted disease? And I said, why am I supposed to vaccinate my newborn baby against a sexually transmitted disease? And the nurse got really mad.
Margulis went on to research and write about vaccines, and in 2009 published a long article about the vaccine debate in Mothering Magazine, a magazine promoting a natural lifestyle.
Why are we giving children so many vaccines? They get 4 times the number of vaccines than I got when I was a child growing up in the 70s. As a parent, I would rather see my child get a natural illness and contract that the way that illnesses have been contracted for at least 200,000 years that Homo sapiens have been around. I'm not afraid of my...
Okay, so everybody understand up until here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, so what she's saying, the last bit that she's saying is that she prefer that her baby gets sick with a natural disease like polio, or one of the 14 diseases that you get vaccinated for, than have vaccinations. That's basically what she's saying. So Brian, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I think the hepatitis. I think she's right with hepatitis because is that illness is transmitted by sexually, but
okay,
so newborn, baby born, so they can infect with that. I think that point is for her, but I don't know if I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know. I don't know if she is right or not. But
okay, but what do you think about it? It's not a matter if you think she's right or not. What do you think about it?
I think that the vaccination when you recently was born is completely normal. But the last class, I don't know. I think we talk about what the difference between the vaccine, the public vaccine, and the private vaccine for the private clinic or hospital. So, for example, if you go to, I don't know, Africa or Brazil, or you have to you have to vaccinate it for a different illness. I don't know what is the difference that vaccines.
Okay, in general, the difference of the vaccinations are the location of, usually it's climate related, because in the United States we don't have yellow fever, but in Brazil you will because of the climate.
Yeah.
So is this correct, Jose? You can back me up on this?
Yeah, in Brazil, and especially in that countries where there are selva. How can I say selva?
Jungle.
Not jungle. No, there's jungle. These are yellow fever. There is a vaccination about that. Even if you want to travel to that this part, is mandatory to get this vaccination.
Right, exactly. Okay, so Brian, you're on the fence about this. You think she's right about some things but wrong about others, is what you're saying, from what I understand. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And well, since you're speaking already, Jose Luis, what is your opinion on this? I know maybe we've talked about this before, but it's always good to rehash the subject.
Yeah. It's I think that is can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Well, yes, from my point of view, it's a good. This I a favor to vaccination.
Okay, good. You're a favor.
Yeah, I know that many people are against this because many people think that they are injecting bots or something, another
Mm-hmm.
kind of to control the mind. But
Mm-hmm.
this false, it's fake
Mm-hmm.
news.
Fake
So
news.
I a favor to the vaccination.
Okay. Okay, good. And Alicia, what do you think about what you're watching so far and what she's saying? That she rather her baby get sick than have vaccinations. What do you think about this?
I think she's crazy. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
Because
fair. That's your thought.
because for example, the last year
Mm-hmm.
was a new a big wave with the sarampion. And
Smallpox.
yeah, and people died for that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it's terrible. For example, in Africa, it's impossible to live if you don't have the
Vaccinations.
vaccination of the malaria, for example.
Vaccination. Okay.
Vaccination.
Sarampion is measles.
Mister.
Measles.
Okay.
Measles. Okay.
Mister. Okay.
Okay. So what you're telling me and what I'm hearing from you is that she's just risking her baby's life in a sense because you can't. There are certain places in the world that if you don't have vaccinations, you won't live. Is that correct?
No, I think it's irresponsible. I don't know.
Irresponsible.
Irresponsible for her baby and for the others.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much. And Lisbeth, what do you think about what you're seeing so far?
I think that it's difficult to try to change her thoughts about the vaccines, but I thought that she needs to consider that the babies are more sensitive to get any illness because the baby are with his or her family, or maybe the environment conditions is not healthy. So the baby needs to get any any way to try to defend himself.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Jorge, what do you think? Jorge? Let me see here. Okay. Noelis, what do you think? Noelis? Okay, and then I'll try Hannah Shadi. What do you think? Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Who is,
Yes.
who okay. Okay, then, okay. Okay, let's continue watching the video. It's clear and everybody understands so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Let me press play.
My children getting chickenpox. There are reasons that children get sick. Getting sick is not a bad thing.
In common with many other Ashland parents, Margulis decided not to fully vaccinate her other children. Ashland has one of the lowest vaccination rates in the country. An estimated 28% of its children lack some or all of their recommended vaccines.
So we're going to need today the DTaP number 5, your final polio.
Pediatrician Dr. Donna Bradshaw Walters worries that these parents may unwittingly bring back diseases that haven't been seen for decades.
And say, ah, good job. The possibility of an outbreak is real here in Ashland. We are not living in a bubble, especially in this day and age of international travel. Our Shakespeare Festival draws people from all over the world, and it's just a matter of time before someone comes to here from another area who is unimmunized and who has the disease and brings that disease into our community.
There are many pro-vaccine parents in Ashland who agree, like Lori Anderson, whose adopted son Evan is fully vaccinated.
It's an outbreak waiting to happen. And so I don't just care about my own child. My child may be well protected because of his vaccination, but I hate to see people get hurt, injured, die, have to be quarantined, isolated because of an outbreak that is preventable with the vaccine. All they have to do is sign an exemption and their kid is exempt from immunization before they go to school. I would try not to be angry. I hope it doesn't get contentious. It will, though. It will get contentious if there's an outbreak, if vaccinated children start to get breakthrough disease because of the high rate of unvaccinated children. It probably will get ugly.
The CDC tracks outbreaks of infectious diseases around the country from its center in Atlanta. In 2008, for example, there were numerous small pockets of infection. One involving measles erupted in an under-vaccinated area of San Diego. Like most measles outbreaks, it came from abroad. It began when an infected 7-year-old returned from a family vacation in Switzerland on January 15th. The child gave measles to 2 siblings, and collectively they infected classmates at the San Diego Cooperative Charter School in Linda Vista. A visit to the Children's Clinic of La Jolla spread the infection to 4 others. One of these, an infant, flew on a plane to Hawaii, where she was intercepted and quarantined. Her fellow 250 passengers had to be contacted and tracked. Dr. Wilma Wooten is San Diego County's public health officer.
This entire process resulted in exposures of almost 1,000 individuals, 90 with no proof of immunization, 73 were quarantined, 12 additional actual cases of measles in San Diego.
Public health officials determined that what allowed measles to enter the community was the number of vaccine-hesitant parents who took advantage of the personal belief exemption allowed by California. School principals find themselves caught on the front lines.
The fact is that some families choose not to immunize their children, and then there are families who have children who are particularly medically sensitive, and they're in jeopardy because they could get sick from unimmunized children. So it's
okay. So there they said about a personal beliefs exemption. Does anybody have an idea what that might mean?
Maybe when they have some health condition.
Condition?
Condition.
Mm-hmm. Okay, when they have a health condition, okay, that could be one, but also it's saying personal beliefs exemption. Personal is on the person, belief is what you believe, and exemption is that you get an exception to the rule of everybody else. Mm-hmm. So, there are certain religions and there are certain mindsets that believe that if a child gets a disease, it's because it was meant to be and that's how it is. And so they don't vaccinate, they don't use medicine and that type of thing. And in California in particular, they have a paper that you can sign that says you can go to school, your child can go to school even if they're not vaccinated because of the personal beliefs exemption. What do you think about that, Jose Luis? What do you think about that kind of liberty.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but from my point of view, I think that vaccination must be mandatory for all of us
Mm-hmm.
because it's a health problem for
Mm-hmm.
very serious health problem for all the world.
It's a public problem.
Public, yeah, public problem. And how's I don't know how to add more things, but I think that this should be mandatory. This vaccination.
Okay. Okay. And Alicia, what do you think about this personal beliefs exemption?
I'm not sure about that. For example, now if we have to vaccination with the COVID, I don't feel sure with this because it was very quickly old. I'm not sure. I won't. No.
Okay, you won't sign that.
Yeah, I think we need more time to find. Yeah.
Okay. And Brian, what do you think about this personal belief exemption?
I think that completely insane because it's a paper. I don't know what is it work or no. I don't know what's the problem because if you are if you were vaccinated again, I don't know, measles. What is the problem? I don't know. I don't understand what's the problem because it's a fight against the vaccinated against people don't got vaccinated. I don't get the problem because if you are vaccinated, you have no worry about that.
You
You
don't
are
worry.
vaccinated. You don't worry about that. What is the problem? If the problem is for that people don't get vaccinated.
Okay, exactly. What do you think, David? Are you there, David? Okay. One thing this paper is, and not every state in the United States have it. Where I'm from in the United States, we don't have that. What they have, it depends on each state. It's not a federal thing. It's a statal. So in some states like California that we're talking about, or Oregon or other states, they have the personal beliefs exemption. And this personal beliefs exemption is a binding contract that parents sign that they say their child will not be vaccinated. Some of these are also when they go to the hospital, and this seems very contradictory, but they go to the hospital to see what is wrong with their child. And when the doctor tells them, it's this disease and you need to give them this medicine, they say, no, we're not giving them medicine. It's in God's hands, or it's for fate, or it's whatever thing they believe. So what is happening, and it's occurring, and people are fighting against this personal beliefs exemption, is because children are being brought to the hospital very ill, and they are becoming fatalities because of this liberty or freedom that the parents are exercising. So it's it's a very difficult negotiation, because they feel like their rights of over their child are being infringed upon when they don't have the right to choose everything but people are seeing that they're choosing sometimes not to treat their children. They just take them home and the child becomes a fatality, which is something very sad. So this personal beliefs exemption is very controversial, and there's a lot of backlash from medical and pediatric professionals about this. Are there any questions until here?
No, no, it's okay.
No questions? Okay. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. We're going to watch a bit more, and then we're going to work with what we've watched, okay? Because it's long.
It's a very emotional issue on both sides.
A vast public health infrastructure is committed to preventing such outbreaks. The National Institutes of Health, the Food and Drug Administration, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, large vaccine manufacturers. The mainstream medical establishment speaks with one voice. Vaccines are a public health miracle far too valuable to put at risk. Emilio Amini has spent his life making vaccines in America's pharmaceutical companies. He heads Pfizer's vaccine operation.
People haven't seen these diseases in a while, so people become complacent, they don't vaccinate, and what they wind up doing is putting their children and themselves in considerable risk of a severe disease and infection. Polio, even though people aren't worried about it because they haven't seen much of it, it's still present in many parts of the world. And it can easily be introduced into a non-vaccinated population. And from what we've seen in other parts of the world, once it's introduced, it will spread very rapidly and cause a lot of disease.
The fear, my friends, is polio. But soon, perhaps within a year, there may be a vaccine.
Thanks for visiting with us. Hey, kids, how about saying goodbye, huh?
Say
Come on,
bye-bye.
say bye-bye.
When I was a child, and the big scare was polio, where you would see your friends playing ball outside with you, baseball and basketball, and all of a sudden get sick and be in bed, be in an iron lung, and then come out with a deformity, a serious limp or a serious physical disability. That is absolutely frozen in your mind as a very scary scenario.
I think we're compelled by our own fears, and certainly my parents, who grew up in the 1920s and 30s and 40s, saw these infections. They saw what they could do. For them, vaccines was an easy sell.
Paul Offit is a pediatrician and co-inventor of a vaccine against rotavirus, a pathogen that causes serious fever, vomiting, and diarrhea.
I grew up in the 1950s and 60s. I saw measles, I had mumps, I had German measles. I mean, I knew what those diseases could do. I watched my friends also be sickened by those diseases. And so for me, vaccines was an easy sell. I think for people now, young mothers today, not only don't see these diseases, they didn't even grow up with these diseases. So for them, vaccination becomes a matter of faith.
But the faith of some parents has eroded. Offit, for example, is seen in some quarters not as a hero for inventing a successful vaccine, but as a self-interested entrepreneur whom skeptics call Dr. Profit.
They all have this guy, Paul Offit. You guys know him? And he is the poster child for the term biostitute. Does not disclose the
For such critics, the fact that vaccines have made Offit rich is enough to discount what he is saying. But Offit, a prolific author, makes no apologies.
I'm the co-inventor of a rotavirus vaccine, a vaccine that I made in collaboration with Merck, and it's a vaccine which has caused a dramatic decrease in this country in hospitalization, and has caused already a dramatic decrease in hospitalization and death in some countries in the developing world. I'm enormously proud of that. I would argue that I have an expertise in rotaviruses.
Did you also financially benefit from that vaccine?
I know this isn't going to sell, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether I financially benefited or not. The only thing that mattered is did the vaccine that we created at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia do what it was claimed to do? Has it prevented hospitalization and suffering and death? And the answer to that question is yes.
You like it?
Okay, so we can see here, we can see here that okay. What do you think about so far? Do you think that he's wrong to profit off of his vaccination, Jose Luis? Oh, Jose, are you here? No. Lisbeth, what do you think? Do you think he is wrong to profit?
No, I think that they are right.
Mm-hmm.
They need to control any spread of any illness or virus.
Mm-hmm.
So, although the law let the families use it and don't use the vaccine, it's necessary to do something to prevent any spread of any illness.
Okay, good. Alicia, what do you think?
I think he spoke about the best example was the polio, was the vaccine for the polio, was a change in the world for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think with he explained all with this.
Yeah, with that example,
Yeah.
it said everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
because was terrible.
Yes, yes. I have seen here several doctors that had, when they were children, polio because the vaccination wasn't available. Mm-hmm. Okay, and Brian, what do you think? Do you think
I
he's
think
wrong for making money? Do you think he is a bad guy? What do you think?
for me, it's a business. For as a business, they are looking for increase their profits.
Mm-hmm.
So they when the labs or that people are happy with that new viruses or new illness or I don't know because they increase their profit with the fear people because that people is they want to get vaccinated and they sell the vaccine. So it's a real business. They, I don't know if my country they are laws about that. I don't think, but I don't know if another country I regulation or kind of law about that.
Well, that's a good point. And vaccinations are highly regulated by WHO, the World Health Organization. They are highly regulated by them. And again, like Jose Luis mentioned, and I have mentioned, the vaccinations are regional sometimes. For example, until I traveled, I didn't have to get a malaria or yellow fever vaccination. Well, I did anyways because I was in the military for a long time. So, but you have to get all the vaccinations in the world because they send you everywhere. But many people don't get that in the United States. There's only certain ones we get. And here, I know here in Mexico, you must get a certain amount or your child cannot go to school. They're not permitted in school. No? Mm-hmm. So it is a money maker, but here the vaccinations are, you go to the clinic and they're free. I know it's not free for everybody. It's a government institution, but it's free. It's free vaccination program here. Mm-hmm. Jose, what do you think about the last part you saw? About the business, if he's being a businessman making money, if he's a bad guy for doing that, or?
Yeah, it's a big business, but the person who developed this vaccine, obviously, they are prepared person, and they are looking for obviously money, business, but besides they are looking prestige. More, I think that is they are looking more prestige than money. Yeah, and
Okay, like to have a name.
yeah, in fact, it's a very competition in all the world.
Competitive.
Competitive. Here, for example, people who discovered this vaccination about the coronavirus, will be very rich and famous, because the first person who discovered this vaccine will be millionaire.
A millionaire.
Even there is a prestige more than people is the country. For example, there are Chinese, Russian, and United States. They are the first countries to develop this vaccination.
Okay, so you're saying that it would be a country prestige for the entire country of that, for example, Germany makes the first vaccination for COVID-19. That's an interesting point. That can be very true. Because they're going to say, oh, well, they made, and that would be very interesting to see. I think right now, currently, all countries are working on something to do with it. No?
Yeah.
Yes.
People who discover this vaccination will be famous and rich.
Exactly. Okay, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the chat the link to the video we're watching, just in case you want to finish the video. We're not going to be able to finish it, but we're going to go kind of to the end to look at what some of the conclusions might be from people. Okay, so we're going to go right about around, because it's a long video. So let me just see here with children. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and press play on this.
Together, we are together.
In other words, if a certain percentage of the population is vaccinated, that will stop infections from spreading, because most of the people around that child are vaccinated, so therefore the virus can't really spread. However, when a critical number of people aren't vaccinated, when there's a critical drop in herd immunity, then the viruses can spread. And not only are those children who aren't vaccinated at risk, but those who can't be vaccinated are at risk.
Thank you. When enough people don't vaccinate, herd immunity begins to crumble. The first to suffer are vulnerable populations, those who because of age or illness can't be vaccinated. When Vanessa was...
Okay, so what they're talking about here is herd immunity. And that is, they say it occurs when a group of people are vaccinated, so it creates a kind of a presence of a shield guard for all people, because there are people who cannot be vaccinated. They're with autoimmune deficiencies, such as AIDS, cancer, diabetes. These people cannot be safely vaccinated without strict medical care. So, especially, or if a child or an adult is going through chemotherapy, they cannot be vaccinated. So they're very, very vulnerable. Are there any questions about this?
No.
No?
Okay.
6 weeks old, too young for most vaccines, her only protection was from the herd. Then she came down with a severe cough.
She turned totally blue. She stopped breathing, and we didn't know what to do to have her breathing back again. I took her outside, bring her back. She wasn't responding.
An ambulance brought her to the pediatric ICU in her hometown of Portland, Oregon. Fortunately, the intensivist on call that night was Dr. Cynthia Christophany. This was Vanessa.
I look at the video and I keep saying, Vanessa, take a breath, please. Because we knew that a child of that age with an already narrow airway baseline who's not inhaling well could easily lose consciousness from lack of oxygen and perhaps die.
And they're giving her oxygen.
Dr. Christophany opened the infant's airways and sucked copious secretions from her mouth. Vanessa had pertussis, whooping cough. Her status was so dire, a chaplain was brought into the ER.
Vanessa was 40 days old when she was diagnosed with whooping cough. So we were probably a week away from having her vaccine for whooping cough. So the only thing that will protect a kid like that will be the herd immunity. And in that case, it felt, somebody in the community didn't vaccinate or got Vanessa infected.
Okay, so you see how how not vaccinating the children can cause a lot of problem for vulnerable people, no? Or children.
Yes.
So do you have any questions or any thoughts that you would like to add to the class, or opinion about what you saw, or anything?
No.
No? Are there any questions?
No,
No?
I think that as a society, we be aware about ourselves and applied all the vaccination because it's a public health.
It's a public
So
health issue.
yeah, we we uh, we must have to responsible about own acts.
We must be responsible of our own acts.
Yeah.
And doing that is called being socially responsible.
Yeah.
We're being personally responsible and socially responsible. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put here in the chat really quickly the name of what we saw. And you can finish it if you want. Well, I just want to thank all of you for the class, and if you have any questions, maybe we'll see you again, and have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.